The creation, Adam and Eve, the beginning and the fall. In the primordial silence, before time began to be measured, God traced the universe with his voice. From nothingness, the infinite cosmos emerged, the sky spread out like a starry cloak, the earth rose from the chaotic waters, and the oceans found their boundaries. With meticulous design, the Creator gave life to all creatures, birds that soared through the skies, beasts that roamed the fields, and fish that danced in the depths. But amidst all this magnificence, something, or someone was missing. Then, with special care, God formed man from the dust of the earth. Adam, the first of his kind, was molded in divine image and likeness. His breath was the very breath of God, infusing him not only with life, but also with dominion over all creation. Eden became his home, a garden of endless delights, where rivers of crystal clear water nourished trees with exquisite fruits and harmony reigned in every corner. However, amidst this perfection, God noticed a shadow in Adam's heart. Although Lord of all creatures, his gaze reflected a profound loneliness. "It is not good for man to be alone," declared the Creator. And in an act of infinite love, while Adam was deeply asleep, he took one of his ribs and from it formed Eve, the mother of all living beings. Her beauty was the perfect complement to Adam, and together they were crowned as sovereigns of Eden. God granted them absolute freedom. They could eat from any tree, enjoy all the pleasures of paradise, except one. In the center of the garden stood the tree of knowledge of good and evil, whose fruit was forbidden to them. "The day you eat from it, you will surely die," the Creator warned them. For a time, they obeyed without question. But in the shadows of Eden, the deceiver lurked. Satan, the fallen angel, took the form of a serpent with shining scales and a seductive voice. One night, while Eve was walking near the forbidden tree, the serpent slithered up to her feet. "So God has told you not to eat from any tree in the garden?" she asked with false innocence. Eve, confident, repeated the divine prohibition. Then the serpent unleashed its most powerful lie: "You will not surely die. For God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." His words resonated in Eve's heart as she contemplated the fruit. It seemed more beautiful than ever, promising wisdom and power. Doubt turned into desire, and desire into action. He took the fruit and bit into it. In that instant, something changed forever. Eve, with the juice still on her lips, ran towards Adam. "Try it," she insisted, showing him the apple. Adam, torn between his love for his companion and the divine command, finally gave in. Upon biting the fruit, their eyes opened in a new and terrible way. For the first time, they felt shame at seeing themselves naked, and they ran to cover themselves with fig leaves. The sound of their footsteps fleeing through the garden alerted the Creator. "Where are you?" called God, not because he was unaware of their whereabouts, but to give them a chance to confess. When they finally faced the truth, the consequences were irrevocable. The serpent was cursed to crawl on its belly for all eternity. Adam and Eve, expelled from Eden, would now face an existence marked by the pain of childbirth, the sweat of labor, and the certainty of death. The gates of paradise closed behind them, guarded by cherubim with flaming swords. Thus began the history of humanity, with an act of disobedience that changed the course of creation. Original sin, like an indelible stain, would be passed on to all future generations. The garden was left behind, turned into a distant dream, as Adam and Eve took their first steps in a now hostile world, where the memory of Eden would be both a comfort and an eternal torment. The first human crime, Cain and Abel, the seed of the curse. After their exile from Eden, Adam and Eve faced a wild and hostile land. With their own hands, they built the first human home, a refuge against the wind and the night. There, amidst the sweat and dust, their children were born: Abel, whose name resonated like a breath of life, and Cain, who carried in his essence the desire for possession. For years, the family lived in peace. Abel, endowed with a special sensitivity, became a shepherd. His hands caressed the sheep tenderly, and his heart naturally inclined towards the divine. Cain, on the other hand, worked the land. Strong and stubborn, he pulled fruits from the ground with effort, but his gaze often wandered to the horizon, as if yearning for something more. The offering that divided the world. When the day came to present their gifts to God, the brothers took opposite paths. Abel chose the first lamb from his flock, fat and without defect. His sacrifice was offered with humility, the flames ascending to the sky like a sigh of devotion. Cain, on the other hand, gathered withered ears of grain and small fruits, what was left of his harvest. His offering did not arise from love, but from duty, or perhaps from disdain. God accepted Abel's sacrifice, the fire consumed it eagerly. But the flames ignored Cain's offering, leaving it intact on the altar. The divine rejection burned more than any fire. The murder that marked history. The following days were a whirlwind of resentment. Cain saw Abel blessed by their parents, loved by God, and the poison of envy coursed through his veins. One afternoon, with deceptively sweet voice, he invited him to the field. "Brother, come, help me with the harvest." Abel, confident, followed him. But when he bent down to pick up a tool, Cain raised a sharp stone and smashed it against his head. Once. Twice. Until Abel's body lay still, his blood soaking the land he had loved so much. The eternal curse. Then, the voice of God thundered from the heavens. "Where is your brother Abel?" Cain, trembling, tried to lie. "Am I my brother's keeper?" But the earth itself cried out. The blood of Abel cried out from the dust, and God declared, "Listen, the blood of your brother cries out to me from the ground. Now you are cursed and you will wander without rest." Cain, terrified, pleaded, "My punishment is too great to bear." And although God protected him with a mark so that no one would kill him, he condemned him to perpetual exile. The blood legacy. With this act, sin took root in the human heart forever. Death had entered the world, and with it, the envy that corrodes the soul, the violence that justifies itself, the lie that tries to hide the guilt. Abel became the prerogative of the innocent sacrifices, while Cain, the first murderer, inaugurated a lineage marked by the curse. Humanity would never be the same.